In this session, I'll share with you the most powerful recipe to tune into the frequency of your desires. So, how to get your frequency in alignment with what you really want. So, if you are an entrepreneur or a very driven individual who would love to become a walking, talking magnet to their desires and would love to manifest like 100 times faster, this channel is for you. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so every time we put the new content up, you are the first one to get notified, because we are putting such powerful information every single week, like a couple of times a week. So this is really powerful. So when we are talking about tuning into the frequency of your desires, there is a huge misconception in the online space, on social media, even with a lot of people who teach this, that when we visualize and meditate, we are tuning into the frequency. Now, I'm not saying that's not true, but the problem with that is that the moment you stop your meditation, like the moment you start getting on with your life, because real life starts after the meditation mat. So the moment you get on with your life, you are back in the same old patterns and the same old thinking the same thing, feeling the same thing, acting the same way. So now your frequency has dropped. So the frequency that you got to tune into, that means when you saw your vision in your meditation or in your visualization and you could see it and you could feel it, now the whole connection has broken. But law of attraction is working all the time. It's working 24/7. So once that connection is broken, you are not on that frequency. And this is what happens with most of the people, that you can spend even half an hour in meditation, but after that, you are not on that frequency. So the method that I teach you is really about tuning into that frequency all day long, tuning into that frequency as your natural state of being, so that you're not trying to tune in, but that's who you are. Because the reality is that currently you're operating on a frequency. So you have an autopilot frequency, a natural state of being right now, which is creating a physical reality, and that is shown to you in your bank account, in your relationship, in your health, how your day goes, what your life experiences have been. And if you want to break through from those, and if you want to really create the life that you desire, what you want to start doing is, instead of just tuning into that frequency or just try to focus on feel the feeling, what you want to look at the root cause of the thing that makes you think, feel, and act in a certain way, the thing that defines who you are, the thing that dictates your frequency all day long, because you are programmed to think, feel, and act on autopilot 98% of the time. So when you try to force yourself to feel that, and it lasts for a little bit, but then you start to have these thoughts, these doubts, these thinking, these moments when you're like, I cannot do this, or it's not possible for me, or when you're looking at the outside world and you're thinking how I'm going to manifest that, that's when your frequency is breaking. But the thing that is causing that frequency to break is your mental program, because it is controlling how you're thinking, feeling, and acting on autopilot. And even when you consciously try to get there, it keeps bringing you back. So this is why when you're told that you have just feel the feeling, just feel it, just think your way to becoming rich, just think it, just feel it, your autopilot program comes in and breaks the whole thing. Because you are like a laptop is programmed, like a phone is programmed, you are programmed to be, think, feel, act in a certain way, and you cannot outperform it. So in my method, in my breakthrough method, what I really teach you is how you actually break through from that program and create a new program, so that naturally on autopilot you can stay on that frequency. So let's follow the steps, and you want to make note of notes and watch this over and over again until you start living that way. Because there is one thing that you know this information, there is one thing that you live by it. And once we start living by it, our life change like night and day. So when we talk about changing your frequency and changing your autopilot program, changing your mental program, what we want to understand first is, what is your mental program? So the way we start doing is, we start to get to know ourselves. We start to observe our thinking. We start to really analyze, like, what am I really thinking? What kind of things do I say about myself all day long? What kind of titles do I use for myself? Do I use title lazy? Do I use the title that I don't finish things, I start things? Do I use the title that I procrastinate? Do I constantly feel like I'm not doing enough? Do I feel like I'm not good enough? Do I feel like it takes me a lot longer because I'm not so intelligent? So how do I really see myself? And when I see other people with a lot of money, when I see a lot of circulation of money, does it make me feel uncomfortable? Does it make me feel like I am not? Does it make me feel like it's too far from my reach? What do I feel about being rich? Not just abundant, because abundant is a sneaky word. You can say, yeah, I am abundant. But until you say to yourself, am I rich? Like, that's when the real conversation with money comes in, right? So do you feel rich? Do you feel really rich? Like, if I take you to a Rolex, the watch Rolex shop, or if I take you to a Chanel store, or if I take you to a Louis Vuitton store, would you feel like you belong? Or would you feel like, oh, we cannot have that? How can I have those things? So what is your identity when it comes to money? What is your mental program? How do you really see yourself versus very rich people? Right? So you start to really go within and look at your patterns. When you want to do something new, when you get this idea, when you get this dream, when you see an opportunity, are you the first one to just go and grab it, or you are thinking it's not going to work? Or do you feel like I'm never attracting opportunities? Like, you want to start going within and looking at your identity. And we do this work in a lot of detail, where you even start listening to your body. Like you are saying, when you open your bank account, or when you think about the money in your bank account, when you are spending money, when you're swiping your card, when you're paying for something, where does it feel in your body? Does it feel in your heart? You feel like your heart is sinking? That means you don't love yourself enough. You don't feel you're worthy, because heart is the place of love. If you feel a pit in your stomach, you're like, oh my God, my money's gonna run out. I feel this fear, and I feel this this feeling. That means you don't trust yourself enough. That means you don't feel fully in your power. If you feel a bit of sensation underneath your rib cage, that means you're not confident with money. You're trying and you're chasing, but you don't have this knowing and feeling. When you're thinking about money, when you're thinking about your current financial situation, if you start to feel a little bit like wobbly, like, oh my God, like you start to lose the focus and lose the stability, the groundedness, that means that will feel more like in your back, like you'll not feel as comfortable and grounded. That means you don't trust yourself. You cannot rely on yourself, and your relationship with money is based on very much like, I cannot rely on money. It always leaves me. It always ditches me. One of the tools that I get my clients to do is to write a letter to money. Okay? When you write a letter to money and ask yourself, how do I really feel about money? So if money was a person and you were writing to them, and without thinking like, oh my God, I cannot write negative because I'll attract negative, you're doing it for the awareness to really see what is in your heart when it comes to money. Like, if it was your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, or your girlfriend or boyfriend, and what the experience you had with money, how would you say to it? If you could even go on a rant and like talk about how money wasn't there when in your school you wanted to buy those shoes, or when you wanted to go on that school trip and your parents couldn't afford it, and how did it make you feel? So you can write that letter to money, and it really helps you understand how you see money. So when I learned about this tool for the very first time, I thought, oh, I don't think I need to write a letter. Like, that feels so weird. Money is the thing. How can I write a letter? But when I started writing the letter, I was so shocked, like how I really thought about money. So it really captures your conscious awareness with money. So you cannot change your frequency until you have these ideas and these notions and this belief system that are fully supporting your current frequency. You can go in your meditation for 5 minutes, and real life starts after the meditation, man. So the awareness phase is really, really important, because you cannot change your identity or mental program, which controls your frequency, if you're not aware. Okay, so the biggest thing is becoming aware, and becoming aware from the place that it's not really me. So this is one thing I always tell my clients, that You are not married to your current identity or mental program. It's just like an outfit. You change your outfit. You're like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. This doesn't serve me anymore. So I'm going to try another one. I'm going to try another one. So you are trying new mental programs. You are trying the ones that really serve you to manifest what you want. So you're not married to your current one. You can just literally take it down, like put it down. Okay. The second thing, which is really important, is to rationalize them. Right? To rationalize your current things that come up. So is it really ultimately true that it is hard for you to earn money? Is it true for the whole world that it's very hard for you to earn money? Like, I still know from my experience, until I changed my mental program and my consciousness for money, I always used to think that I have to work really hard, but I used to work a lot harder before with a lot less money than now, right? So what would you love your experience for money to be? And can it get to be true for you or not? And if not, if your mind is stuck on the fact that this can't be possible, rationalize that, question that. Is it true for everybody? What is the logic? What is the reason? Like, I had this client of mine, he came to me and said, I've got ADHD, so I can't be a millionaire because I have problems. And I literally opened Google and showed him so many billionaires with ADHD. And he said, probably you need ADHD to be rich. So again, it's your belief. And I want to share with you a really powerful story here, which can really help. So I was preparing for a party at my home and I invited a lot of people, right? And I've got 4 kids at that time they were under 6, now they're under 8, okay? So I used to think that, because I'm a busy mother and I've got so many kids and I have so many things to do, I cannot be as productive, or I cannot manifest what I really want. Although my manifestations were working, but I still had this identity block that I cannot manifest what I want because I've got small kids. I have a lot of things to do, right? So this lady who came to our house, and I knew her, she was a good friend of mine. She came in and she said to me that for you, it's so easy to become so successful, and look, you're doing so incredible things and you're achieving so many things. And for you, it's so easy because you have kids, you have a lot of drive, like you want to do things for them. You want to do it not for yourself, but for them. And also the fact is you're on the go, like you're fully motivated and on the go. You are so keen and you are in the momentum. And she shared her thing that I am single and I don't have kids. So I feel like I don't have that motivation. Right? So my belief system was that because I have kids, I can't be as productive. Her belief system was she cannot be as productive because she doesn't have kids and she doesn't have her why. So again, both of us were choosing a belief based on a completely opposite reason, right? This incident was a huge, aha moment for me. And I thought, wow, like, it's just the belief that you choose. It's like you have got a box of infinite beliefs and you can choose any of them. What would you choose? So that moment I decided that I am so productive because I have kids. And I got this thing, like I said to myself, my kids are my burning desire. They are the biggest enabler of my success. They are my biggest motivation. They are the ones who keep me going and want me to do this. And that's when, despite having like kids and being a very present mom and really spending time with them and going to places, creating memories, I was able to manifest most of my dreams. And I'm still doing that now. So whatever thing that you are assigning, that thing that you cannot do, uncrown that thing and crown yourself, uncrown that circumstance, because it doesn't have power. So you have to really rationalize them. Then what you start to do is you start to really emotionally connect with a new idea. So you cannot just keep on affirming and affirming and affirming until you really emotionalize that repeatedly. You will not change the mental program, because if we think about it, your current mental program was based on emotion. So when you couldn't have that, or when your parents told you we cannot afford that, you almost had this emotional thing like, oh, what? We can't afford that? Or when you had this huge hit with money and it impacted you emotionally. So the same emotions are your superpower. Now you can use them to really start to reprogram yourself. The way to reprogram your subconscious, there are only 2 tools, repetition and emotion. And if you use both of them together, you multiply the effect. So emotions are really, really powerful. The more the emotion, the more you do it, the more it can help you. Now, after that, the other step is really to understand who you are. And you are one with the source. You are a spirit source having human experience. You are not like separate from source. You are one with the source. Okay. So anytime you go towards like your next vision or your next goal, and you start to feel a bit discomfort, and you're not feeling as in your, like you're feeling a little bit like, am I able to do it? You're having doubts. That is an invitation to tap into your oneness again. So why do we go after those things? Why do we want to manifest the big things? Why have we got these desires? So that when we allow ourselves to expand, then we can tap into our oneness more and more. So really, all these things are like a cycle where when you go and take that big step, right, by deciding what you really want, and then you start to like introduce that energy in your body, and you're changing your mental program, and during that process, the thing that can really accelerate all of that is tapping into your oneness and realizing that you are omitting the rays, the thought rays and the feeling, all of those things in the quantum, and you're receiving, you're omitting and you're receiving. So when you realize that, you realize that's your power and that's your oneness. And anytime you're not feeling as good, or you're doubting and you're not in, like you're feeling a bit weird, what it means is that it's an invitation to go back and tap into that oneness. And that is a growth and expansion, to start enjoying the process of discomfort, start appreciating and embracing who you're becoming, right? And then comes the final step, which is Neville's powerful phrase that I'll explain it with, Neville Goddard's, act in the assumption of wish fulfilled. Okay, so it's already here, it's done. What would you do? So if you're manifesting that dream home, what would you be doing if you were living in it? How would you be behaving? What kind of person would you be? If you're manifesting your dream business, imagine like it's already done, right? It's here. You're just tapping into that frequency. You're becoming one with it. What would you be doing? Do what a business owner would do. Be that person now. Take those kind of actions. Be bold. Be audacious. So when I wanted to be a coach, right? And I was like, I just need a strategy that will work. I need just one strategy that's going to work for me. I need to just find it. And I kept like trying different things, to the point that I tried 8 different strategies in 2 years, and everything fell flat. And the reason being because I wasn't a coach. So I didn't take on the identity of a coach because I was waiting for everything to happen for me to be it. But when I had this breakthrough and I went through that identity shift and I really took on the identity, I was asked to do series of steps like by my heart. I didn't know how they're going to connect. I had no idea how things are going to work. I just felt called to do things. And as I kept doing them, I realized it was a whole full-fledged strategy. But when I became that coach, that's when things really unfolded for me. So become that person means I asked myself, what would a coach do? A coach would coach. But my thing was, I haven't got clients. How do I coach? Go and coach online. Go live or record a video. You don't need clients to coach. You can coach people. Right? What would a coach do? A coach would really believe in themselves and would study more every day and would work on their speaking and really believing in their voice and knowing that their voice can help other people and their messages can help. So I started to operate from that conscious awareness. I started to operate from that identity. So until you really become that, you don't finish the full spectrum. So after you have come from the awareness, you have rationalized those beliefs, you emotionally connect with them, you have tapped into their oneness, that means allowing yourself to expand. The final step to solidify this whole process and give it like the full structure is, it's already done. Go and act in alignment. So you act in alignment. And if you find yourself procrastinating and not acting in alignment, that means there is a problem in any of that. That means either you haven't rationalized the beliefs. That could mean that you're not fully connected with the idea yet. Like Bob Proctor used to say, you're not in harmony with it. That means you have not really taken on the identity. You're not fully that person. So it's like you become that person and you jump in the pool. You're not just testing the waters. You're not just saying, okay, let me just try with 1 feet. If it's hot or cold or whatever, do it. Just jump in. You're like, this is who I am. Like when you become a parent, especially for those who are parents, they will be able to understand. When you become a parent, you see your child from that moment, you are a parent. Even before you conceive, you're a parent, right? So you start acting like a parent the moment you find out you're pregnant. That means you start buying the clothes, you start preparing, you start doing. So now the baby is not here. You haven't seen the baby, but you know you're a parent now. How? Because you know the baby is coming. So you start acting in alignment with the fact that the baby is coming. That means you start preparing, you start packing up your suitcase to take to the hospital, you start buying baby clothes, you start preparing for the nursery, you prepare for like where the baby is going to sleep the first night. Why are you doing that? There's no baby yet. Because you know it's coming. So act in the assumption of wish fulfilled now, because it's here. Like your baby is already here, you haven't just seen it in the physical, your baby's here. Okay, that's when you solidify the whole thing. So I hope that helps, and have a lovely time.